want to apologize right now to you guys for any inconvenience. My phone, my daughter-in-law is about to have a baby any second now, so.
I don't think you're gonna get a signal down here, are you?
Oh, I don't know, I might not, okay, well.
Yeah, you gotta check that.
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of one.
Yeah,
There's been a problem on that.
I got yours, John.
No, actually my fourth.
Are they close by, like?
No, my son and my daughter-in-law live in, it's called Concord, California, just a little north of San Fran.
As far away from you as they can.
Yeah. That's why I'm waiting to find out what's going on with this court decision with the airlines before I buy my ticket.
Yeah.
Take your own water.
Yeah. And UPS my luggage out there.
$25 to check your bag?
Did you see, I forgot what airlines it was on the news a few weeks ago about the profit they had made just on that bag deal. I mean, it was amazing. I think it was maybe Delta or Southwest.
I'll find this one sometime. I guess I gotta pay a $20 for that. JetBlue.
I think that might be
Either
good
thing,
though.
yeah. I think you get one for, if I remember right, Southwest, I think, so. For jet. If you
Oh,
want
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, 'cause that is,
I think about downsizing and carrying on. So you
they're gonna force you into.
force you to have to pay for that bag, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's I may have to take note of that.
All right, all set, John?
Meeting's ready.
Okay, here we go. Okay, we are recording. This is a collective bargaining session between Pasco County and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Local 79. It's July the 2nd, 2015. I'm Jim Sheriff, negotiating for the county.
Kevin Fulford, Assistant HR Director.
Randy Tabist.
Representing the Teamsters, myself as the lead negotiator, John Schultes as a business agent, and on my committee is
Ed Seidzik, Pasco County Utilities.
Doug Heck, Pasco County Utilities.
Frank Pilgrim, Pasco Utilities, Stewart. Thomas Longden, Lee.
Thomas Joe, Facilities Management.
What did cut back on the budget this year? No iPad?
I'm doing a new reporting program that seems to work better.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see if it works better. All right, John, any place in particular you would like to start?
Well, I'd just like to give some kind of opening, comments to kind of give an overview of what our goals are. Obviously, this is our third collective bargaining agreement between the parties. The first one was very brief. I think it went from April to October. This one, and then the second one went from October of 14 to October 1 of 15. And now we're looking to bargain a successor agreement. We would prefer to have a longer term than 1 year. However, we are cognizant of the fact that it's a new contract. It's kind of it needs to grow. It needs to be advanced. It needs to address certain issues that the first two agreements didn't necessarily cover, because we were spent a lot of time getting to where we are, and so we're hoping that we can grow this contract. I know we've addressed numerous issues over the last couple of years in terms of workplace issues, some disciplinary issues, and so we hope there's a little bit of a trust factor, more of a trust factor now than there was when we first started, because I know that seemed to be kind of a concern of at least the personnel director or human resources director, Barbara Simone. It seemed to me that she didn't know what to expect from us, and I'm hoping that our past experiences would lend to some of our credibility and with respect to, we're a decent organization to work with, I believe. We've resolved a lot of issues without even having to to go to extreme measures such as arbitration or anything like that. So we're hoping we can just keep, moving along with advancing this agreement. Some of the areas that we're going to be addressing are the areas of discipline, seniority, and obviously we want to see some improvements in wages. And it's maybe a little bit premature, but I'm just sending a shout over to Val that if the county were interested in entertaining a step plan, that we would certainly be open to that. I think it's a good thing to do. We've had that in several other contracts. I've just recently worked out a wage step plan with Hernando County, and it's not easy. It's not easy going from not having a step plan to having a step plan. It certainly is challenging, but we both parties in that particular relationship wanted to achieve it, and we did. So I don't know if that's something that the county is interested in doing, but we're certainly open-minded to that. And I guess we'll just kind of start off slow with a little bit of the cleanup language on some of the things that maybe can be tweaked a little bit, but don't have that big of an impact. And then move along to some more significant changes in our proposals. I do want to bring up the fact that our bargaining team, we have several key members, but from time to time we're going to have additional people filling in for other people if they can't make it. Case in point, Jim Boucher is not here today, but he's considered a regular bargaining unit member. I know there's been some questions about putting in advance notice to get time off, and we have a proposal that may be addressing that, and maybe we need to work out the logistics of how people are going to get off from work to attend these negotiations. And I guess that's it for open comments. I mean, we're here to bargain in good faith, want to get this thing done, but at the same time, we have some pretty distinct goals we want to achieve.
You want to start by identifying what articles you're going to have proposals on?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can just pass out the proposals when I pass them out, unless you really want me to. I don't have a complete package of proposals, if that's what you're seeking. I might be able to identify ones that I don't believe we're going to have proposals on. I mean, it's not done until it's done. You know how it is.
Sure. Why don't we do this? Why don't we use the table of contents and go down it, and rather than hand us your proposal just yet, of course we do want to see it.
Right.
Let's go down and identify, if you're going to have a proposal on it, tell us, I'll tell you whether we're going to have one on it.
Okay.
And that way we'll get a sense of, how broad the scope of our articles are that are going to be up for discussion.
Sure, and I want to get out there bright and early. We talked about it last time, and we never did it because it just started getting a little bit too late in the process. But I absolutely want to alphabetize our articles in this upcoming agreement, and we can wait to the end. That's fine. I think it's probably a good idea to wait till the end, but that's something I want to make happen. Preamble, I do have a proposal to change, minor changes. Recognition, we have a minor change. Just cause, we have a proposal. Skip on down to 7.
Let me stop you. I'll follow along with you and tell you where, as we go through, where we have some. We have one on 5, drug-free workplace.
Okay.
We have one on 7, collateral documents.
Okay. I had sent an email because my article numbers, some of these article numbers are not matching up, and I know why. When the Word document that I had wasn't the most recent version. If you can send me.
I did.
You did? Okay.
5-6 weeks ago.
Okay.
I sent you a note with the Word document attached.
Okay. I remember you asking me for.
If you go back to that email, that's it.
Okay. Then that's good. And I apologize for some of the numbers being on today's proposals maybe not aligning up, but that's okay. All right. So you're up to 7.
We have one on 7. Proposal on 7.
Okay. We're going to have one on 8. Union's gonna have a proposal on Article 10.
We have one on 9.
Oh, you have one on 9, okay. Union's gonna have a proposal on 11. Nothing on 12. Union's gonna have a proposal on 13. Nothing on 14. Nothing on 15. Union will have a proposal on Article 16. Union will have a proposal on 17. Nothing on 18.
We have 18.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Okay, the union will have a proposal on 19. Nothing on 20.
We have 20.
Union will have a proposal on 21. Nothing on 22. Nothing on 23. 24, I would imagine we're gonna have a proposal on. I just haven't really formulated anything just yet, but I'll just leave that open. Let's just say we're talking about it.
We have one on 25.
Okay. I'm good all the way down to the bottom of the first page. Meaning that we don't have any proposals at this time.
We have one on 26.
Okay.
$29.
Okay.
$35. $42.
Well, 39, Union will have a proposal.
Okay.
41 as well.
41.
So county's gonna have one on 42?
On 42. Standby.
All right. A lot of these, I don't know at this point in time if we're gonna have proposals or not. We'll just see how things shape up, so I don't wanna, you know,
All right, we have-
this is now binding,
Just getting a ballpark
Right,
of how
right.
much we have to tackle. We've got one on 44.
okay.
52 and 53.
The Union will have one on 49.
39, reduction.
You said 50 and 50,
52 and 53. Holidays and wages.
now, if we're gonna have one on the same article, there's no point in me raising that, because we're gonna have a counter anyway, right, so, okay.
And 60 is our last one.
Well, I guess we got a lot to work on, huh?
Maybe we should have listed the ones that are not open.
Yeah, no, that would have been a smaller list. You want to, you got proposals shared, prepared to, for today?
I did.
Okay. Want to just review those first?
Sure, I don't have enough for all of you. I'm short one.
We'll share it. Written,
Let's go in order, since you have a couple, and some of them, as you indicated, might be minor, like language in the preamble. Just tell us what you're looking for there, and let's go in order.
Well, in preamble, I just simply wanted to revise the employer's address, because I believe it changed. Looks like I received notice that it changed. I received a notice that it's 8731 Citizen Drive now, Citizens Drive, instead of Little Road.
$87.31.
Yeah. Are these proposals, it's just the agreement?
This is the agreement with there are
You have
markup
some
proposals
changes,
there.
okay, gotcha,
You'll-
gotcha.
As we get to them, see. All right, so we change 75 Third and Little Road. Okay. Anything else on that one?
No.
Recognition?
I thought it would be useful and prefer to just add the date of the certification after the number 1744.
You have it handy?
Yeah, it's October 18, 2010. I like to put it in parentheses.
It's fine with us.
Okay. So we got 2 TAs already?
I'll call it a day.
Let's go home. That's it. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
At least a lunch.
I know.
You can start the fireworks early, right?
I would be able to report back that we had a magnificent bargaining session and agreed on everything that we reached. It's not right now.
That and 100, eh? All right, so 1,000, I mean. So just cause discipline, we have some significant changes to that. And I can just explain conceptually, or do you want to get into the meat of it? I mean,
Give me your concept first.
Okay. We have had several disciplinary matters come up over the last year and a half, and we've been able to work them out in the way that I typically work them out with most employers. That we have a hearing, we get to the merits of the union's argument, if there is an argument, or we at least address what the concerns are of the employee. We have a meeting with the HR rep and the union's business agent, the employees that are involved, the witnesses, and we've been able to work out, every disciplinary matter that has gotten to that level has been worked out without having the use of going to the personnel board, including 2 employees that were slated for termination. So with that being said, what I would like to have, if the county is still going to maintain this personnel board, which I don't know if you are or not, but we would like to have a fork in the road, similar to employers who are signatory to civil service boards, where if there's a collective bargaining agreement in place, the employees typically have to make a decision. Do you want to go the grievance route, or do you want to go the civil service route? You can't have 2 bites of the apple. You can't go to one. If you don't get what you want, go to the other. So similarly, I would like to have a fork in the road where if an employee is a union member or wants to become a union member and they want to go the grievance route, then we could handle the discipline that way and effectively bypass the personnel board. And if the employee is not a member, or if they are a member and choose to go that route, then they certainly can do so. You can't take both. But that's kind of in concept. I've proposed that in the past. I've proposed a lot of different things in the past, and that was one of the versions, but this is the one that we're proposing today. So that, we do have a proposal that I think kind of captures that pretty easily. So that's kind of the gist of it.
All right, well, the language will be important, so we'll need to see that proposal, but thanks for the overview.
Additionally, in F, Article 3, letter F, or Section F, there's there's no defined sunsetting clause for discipline, and we have a proposal on that. And Also in F,
But by that, you mean a point at which, contrary to our language, which says it has less and less weight, your sunset means it has no weight and shouldn't be considered at all, right?
at a certain point, yeah, and it's with different degrees of discipline too, so. If the discipline had reached the point of the disciplinary suspension, it'll have a longer sunsetting period than just a reprimand, which would be a sooner sunsetting period, or briefer. And then also, I think we need to have some language in there about how to appeal verbal and written reprimands, and this is, you know, something that Barbara DeSimone and I had talked about, because Teamsters have a way of addressing written and verbal reprimands that are protested in the form of a letter of protest, but they're not something that's grievable, because we'd be filing grievances and forever. If every time someone got a reprimand or a warning letter or verbal reprimand, there's nothing in here addressing that. It's a standard operating procedure for us with all of our other contracts. We don't even have it in there, but since at least Ms. DeSimone is not familiar with it, I thought it might be useful to put some language in there. And it would help the employees too, who don't know how to go about challenging or appealing a letter of reprimand. Just would spell out how you do it. So, excuse me, that will be in our proposal as well.
Okay, that takes us to 5.
Yeah, you said you had.
Yeah, what the language we're going to be looking for is to bring in random drug testing as permitted and required by statute for public employees that are in what's classified or defined as a mandatory test position. As a point of reference, that's in Florida statute 440.102. It's relatively new language, really. It wasn't in place when we first started
I'm sorry,
bargaining.
440.102?
440.102.
Okay.
So what we would be looking for in terms of random testing would be employees that are identified in the statute, which generally would be safety-sensitive employees, employees that hold commercial driver's license.
Well, we're tested by the state anyway. We're under the state's guidelines, that.
That's why we want to clear that we could random test for that category of employee. Employees who work in water and wastewater plants. That's our general categories.
I think we'll be okay with that, as long as they do the managers and supervisors. I think we need to have that wording too.
I mean, that's what they're after.
Sounds fair to me.
Are you talking about another layer of random testing? So if the CDL testing system requires you to do X amount of random testing on CDL license holders, you can do another level?
We could adopt whatever that standard is, but when the statute changed, it characterized random drug testing as something that was narrow for a smaller group of employees as opposed to across the board for everybody. And then also the statute says it's a mandatory subject to bargaining. So if it's a mandatory subject to bargaining, we want some language about it. How detailed it has to be, it could be a point of reference to another state regulation that might be fine with us. But we do want to see the word random drug testing in the contract.
Well, we'll look at, well, this is your proposal right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, why would you want this language as opposed to just having someone that you're suspicious of, or you have reasonable, I guess, belief that they're intoxicated or something, or that they...
Well, one is the state passed a law that says that there has to be random testing for mandatory test positions. so we want to comply with the statute. Secondly, we know that it does have a deterrent effect. And it being random, we don't get into the issue of why somebody was specifically targeted for a test, say under reasonable suspicion. It's just your name pops up from a computer-generated program, and that's it.
We're just noting that that language is already in Article 5A.
No, that's what he's proposing to change.
Oh.
Yeah,
This is his copy,
Okay.
that's how he wants it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is where
Okay,
it would be.
yeah. But he has it.
I'm confused because it says in Article 5, it already says a random drug test.
Tell me where you're reading if Article 5 is.
I'm reading out of the contract.
Yeah.
Just tell me what line
It's
you're reading from.
5A.
The second
5A.
sentence of 5A, it
Yeah.
says a random drug test.
But remember, that language came in before the statute passed that made specific reference to random testing. That statute says it's a mandatory subject of bargaining, so we want to clarify it at this point. The more detail, I would think, favors the employee as well, that we have a clear understanding of what random testing is and how it will be done and for who.
Would this, is it an oversight to not strike that out of 5A, or are you trying, or is it your proposal to have it in addition to?
I'm not married to any additional language. It doesn't matter either way, as long as it has it in there and contains the detail about what categories of employees will be tested, random tested.
Okay. I'll consider it.
What's not in here, and which I left open because I thought we would end up discussing this, and you probably have random testing elsewhere under your contracts, would be what percentage of employees would be in the pool for each time there's, a name drawn. What's I have found pretty common around the state is that the number is 10%, although it certainly varies more and less in different agencies.
Yeah, I mean, I know, it's because obviously this is outsourced, right? This is something that you
Correct.
enter into an agreement with an independent company, and I know they vary, from,
Doesn't Governor Scott's wife own the company?
well, she just gets a kickback. Okay, so that's the target number that you're looking for, or is that just?
I'm throwing that out,
a point
and
of
why don't you,
reference?
check around, I know what your other contracts have, if they address random and what percentage, but, we want a fair sized pool. This is a big bargaining unit, so that certainly generates a significant number of people that would be in the pool for the draw.
Okay.
You want more than one department in each? Or are you just trying to do it per department?
We would do it for the bargaining unit.
For everybody?
Yeah, across the board.
10% of 1,200 people.
And that doesn't mean we're gonna test that number of people.
We already
That just means that,
tested it.
right, okay, that's, right. Because there's a cost to
Yeah,
it.
the payday at the clinic, man. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
So how do they do it now, do you know? In the departments that they do it in, like the?
I think you gotta, usually it's
Transportation and
involved,
fleet.
if you get into some kind of an accident,
Yeah,
or
if-
some type of an issue.
I'm not aware that,
Transportation and fleet are already random.
I can't tell you how the procedure works right now, but we're happy to work out the procedure with you. We consider that as defined by statute as part of the mandatory subject of bargaining, is how it's done. Okay, that takes us to 7, collateral documents.
Yeah.
Wanted to put a reference in paragraph A, just after it says career service manual, that manual was last amended November of 14.
Well, we're gonna need to
That's what's
see,
online, if you go online, you find that.
we're gonna need to see the, what was amended. I mean, what is specifically changed from the initial version.
All right. 8, you had something on Insignia?
Yeah, or I have had a devil of a time trying to find a patch manufacturer that would make a patch suitable to us in those dimensions. We're asking for a 1/2 inch. So 2 inches by 3 inches. Initially, our proposal, I think, was 3 by 4 or something like that, or 2 by 4, but Albany is 2 by 3. We found a manufacturer that can, I guess what really comes into to the problem is this the stitching for some reason, getting the lettering that small.
We'll take a look at that, but my concern, John, with you is that if we give you 1/2 inch, you're gonna want a mile.
No, not in this particular case.
Okay. Article 9, union information.
You got something on that?
I just made it a little bit more detail about when you ask for it, you get it within 5 business days following the request. And we would do it no more than once quarterly.
Has this been a problem, or,
From your point of view, has it been a problem? I don't know how many times you've asked for it.
not from your point of view? I wouldn't expect you to ask your opinion on my point of view. What is, you just, have we asked for something and not gotten it, and complained about it, or?
There have been a lot of requests for information, and this gives a little bit more structure to it. Could I point to one specific thing that you've asked for that was problematic? I cannot. I can just say that there have been enough requests for information to warrant having specificity on it.
Yeah.
All right, I think you had something on 10.
Yeah, we're going to be proposing a deletion of A, section A.
Is that it?
Yeah. I'm not on that article, yeah. I guess everything else has been going smooth enough, regarding the deductions, so.
All right, 11, bargaining unit work, you have language on?
Yeah, hang on a second. Yeah, bargaining unit work, in section B of Article 11, the current language says a non-bargaining unit county employee or contractor may temporarily perform tasks normally assigned to a bargaining unit employee when, by way of example and not limitation, there's a work backload or delay to reduce or avoid overtime. There is a temporary reduction of the workforce, and there's an emergency situation for the purpose of, I don't know if you're missing something here.
Instruction and or training. Top of the next page. Right here. Page 9.
Okay, yours goes from 8 to 11 on my bundle. I don't know if that's this one here.
Okay.
Is everyone else,
Anybody missing?
I think they're out of order. 11.
Page 48.
9, 10. I guess it's just 2 pages out of order. Okay. Instruction and or training when a county EOC is activated. What I would like to do is, and our proposal is going to reflect that, if you look in the second line of B where it says by way of example, I'm going to start striking there and end all the way where it says avoid overtime.
So yours would read bargaining unit employee to reduce or avoid overtime, or through that clause?
Yes, ending at the word overtime. So, and then I want to add, after that, which says there is a temporary reduction, I want to insert there is an unforeseen temporary reduction of the workforce. So it'll read like this: a non-bargaining unit county employee or contractor may temporarily perform tasks normally assigned to a bargaining unit employee when there is an unforeseen temporary reduction of the workforce, and then continue on out as it's written. Just a minor change. Yeah, we want to add a bulletin board, and I don't have a specific address, but it would be, I guess, number 14, since we have 14. I guess it would be number 15. And the name of the location is the C Barn, and it's C as in letter C, C Barn, and it's out on the east side. I guess it's kind of a complex where there's a couple of different buildings. The East Side Transit Department's there. There's, I guess we have to find the address, but that's what, unless anybody knows it.
Got somebody, I don't know the address, but it's off 52 there, it's past 75.
Warden Road, so it is.
Water. I think it's
Well, no, it's been there for a
WARDER.
while. They've
Oh,
just
Warden,
remodeled
okay.
it.
Okay, it's 3098, I'm sorry, 30908.
908.
Warder, W-A-R-D-E-R, Road, in San Antonio.
30908 Warden Road. Okay.
Warder,
Warder, I'm sorry, W-A-R-D-E-R.
yeah.
Okay.
It's like saying water with my Yankee accent, Warder Road in San Antonio. And the zip there is 33576. Yeah.
Takes us to 16, union stewards.
Yeah, in A, I just thought it might be, I don't know if the county administrator is the person to send the list to, or should it be the director of human resources? Because I think that's who I've been sending them to. I don't know. Whatever you guys want to do is fine, but what I thought would be more appropriate is to send them to the director of human resources. And I also want to put in, on our proposal, we'll show this, adding union stewards and alternate stewards, just to be, because we do have such a thing where if the union steward's not available, we have an alternate steward. We've always had that. And I don't necessarily understand the significance of the 5 working day notice, so I would suggest just striking the 5 working days and just say written notice with written notice to the county administrator, and again, inserting the HR director if it's more appropriate. Unless you feel the county administrator needs to know what the stewards are, because, and the only reason I'm suggesting a change is because other employers, several other employers, when I send things to this, the CEO or the county administrator or whomever's designated, it just sits in a pile. The person never sees it anyway. The secretary loses it. Things get, it's just more of an HR function in most places, but it's just a suggestion.
We'll take a look at that.
And then on that same article, in B, we want to change First, it says union stewards may use union leave time if available or be granted unpaid. I want to strike that to say union steward may, or strike may, I'm sorry, union stewards strike may use union leave time if available or and be granted paid leave. So it'll read, union stewards shall be union stewards shall be granted paid leave time to engage in the following representative activities. And then under subsection 1, strike the words and or arbitration. We're not expecting a steward to be paid to attend an arbitration. That's our burden. But all the rest of the activities that are occurring, Ms. DeSimone made a comment to me a while back, why aren't your stewards getting more involved? Why are you coming up here all the time and handle all these issues? And she probably didn't take any more pleasure in seeing me than I did seeing her. But I explained to her that unlike every other contract we have, the stewards have to be there on their own time or get engaged with this pool that we don't have with any other of our contracts either. So we just want the same thing we have everywhere else. It's not going to be abused. If it's ever abused, then the county has a right to address the abuse of it. But if a union steward is being called by his or her coworker to attend a hearing or a meeting, it shouldn't be something that costs the steward money. And you may say, well, it shouldn't be something that costs the county money. Well, if the county is taking action against an employee, and the employee has a legal right to union representation, how is that the steward's fault or even the employee who's being disciplined necessarily? So we're just looking for a fair thing, a fair deal. I think we've earned the respect. I think we deserve the respect of having stewards being present and not having to suffer economically for attending meetings that they're called to. So those are the three changes. One in A, which is just more administrative, I guess, and then B and B1.
Article 17, you have change on that?
Yeah, well, we would just be deleting Article 17 if the county were willing to agree to our proposal on 16B, because there wouldn't be a need for it. But again, that's kind of a companion proposal. You said you had something on probationary?
Yeah, if you look on the second page, paragraph C, we've deleted what was C, which is that probationary periods cannot be extended. And our language is just the opposite, that they can be extended, but not for more than a 60-day time period. If they are extended, and that's a determination by the HR director in consultation with the department or division head, we'll provide notice to the union.
Okay,
That's driven by the fact that there are individuals who are or can approach the end of their probationary period right now. Even though they might show promise and things could be corrected if additional time was granted, they wouldn't be kept. So this is a job preservation issue from our point of view. But the intent of extending it for 60 days is to keep the employee.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
All right, 19, you have something on that?
Yeah, it's a pretty minor, 2 minor changes. The word that says without, or it says without in the first sentence, up to 6 employees designated by the union shall be granted excused leave without pay. Just strike the out part of without. Excused with leave. Pay for meetings at times mutually agreed to by the county. And then the, with that being said, or that being proposed, the last sentence would kind of be a moot point where it says a request for leave without pay, so we would strike that as well.
Takes us to 20, grievance and arbitration. Our changes are shown at step 3, which is the arbitration step. John, these reflect changes that were made to the Florida Arbitration Code. I don't know whether as a union you've gone through that significant overhaul of the statute or not. These are changes that are addressed in it that I think are now necessary to address in the article. If you haven't, and I would, I won't tell you what to do, but I would recommend that you have your attorneys take a look at the new Florida Arbitration Code as it relates to step 3 of the process.
In S, it says determined by a court, you have a court underlined. Is that new or is that the current?
The whole section, the whole language is new there that's underlined. I believe.
Well, then what did it end with before?
It ended with a,
So determined by, and there had to been something else.
oh yeah, no, that is where it ended, by a court.
Okay, by a
But
court.
now I've added the details about how that would work.
So a court, it shouldn't be underlined because that's existing language. And then from there on out, it's all new, right? The county may initiate a court proceeding.
Right.
Yeah, I'll certainly have our attorney run by it. I know that this was your proposal last time.
Some of it was, but a lot of it is not. If you go on to the second part of it, starting with you, the former version of the arbitration code didn't provide for discovery, meaning, you know, if you wanted to, where you could take somebody's deposition. The new code does provide for that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at it. I mean, I just, I don't necessarily want to make things any more complicated than they are, and, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the whole concept of arbitration is to keep things out of court, and then when it starts becoming more and more like court, and then appealing to go to court, and appealing to go to court to even talk about whether we can even have an arbitration, and then we can appeal that, and it just starts becoming a, you know, a whole process of litigation that arbitration was supposed to avoid in the first place. But we'll certainly take a look at it.
Okay, seniority, do you have language on that?
Yeah, we have a pretty expansive proposal that, several pages actually, and a lot of it is, you've probably already seen before, you know, in previous proposals. You know, I remember quite clearly you telling me during bargaining last time that, you know, as our relationship, bargaining relationship matures and moves along, that, you know, this will be expanding over time. And we do have, the county did agree to our section 1 last time, which has definitions of different types of seniority, including county seniority, departmental, part-time, the concept of an occupational work group. However, all of the provisions that we have proposed that those definitions would apply to or govern, you know, weren't agreed to, and you kind of just explained to me, like, listen, we're making steps, we're making strides, and we understand that. We just want to continue on from there. We do want to have seniority have more weight and more value than it currently does. I know you've heard me talk to a blue in the face about how important seniority is to us, and I've heard you respond every single time saying that I have no importance to you. And hopefully somewhere we can meet a middle ground. The contract we have with Hernando County, in my opinion, has some really good language in there. And it's not just because I wrote it, but I just think it's been working well for both parties. They haven't made any attempts to change the language or get the language out of the contract. In fact, we've done more to expand on things than to compress them or contract them. And conceptually, what I had proposed last time that it seemed like Barbara DeSimone didn't seem to grasp, or she didn't understand how it could work. But to have kind of a broad-based concept of seniority applying, however, after bargaining is completed, that each of the department's heads or directors would sit down with me, the business agent, and just work out a simple procedure for each department as things bubbled up. And so it's been several years since I've had that language in the Hernando County contract, and I still haven't gone around to all the departments because it hasn't been necessary. And so, as an example, utilities may want to do things differently than the Department of Public Works. Library services may want to do something different than they do at the landfill. And so to have a cookie cutter seniority rights provision in the contract, I don't think would serve either party. So, I'm gonna have a proposal on that to, I basically cut and paste from Hernando County contract, and because it works well, and that's what we're going to be proposing. That's just an overview.